Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. It's 9 o'clock, and I'm here for Norma Cowie Talks Metaphysics. And today, this is a book I wrote, which you can see this, called Connecting with the Light. I'm going to read a little bit of it, and then I'm going to tell you how it actually happened in just a couple of weeks ago, which is why I decided I would talk about it. So, I'm just going to read a little bit of it, not much, but just to give you an idea of how all this began and how I began to find these concepts. One day, after I had been doing several ghost busting sessions, the thought came, if there are ghosts frozen in time on the outside, perhaps we have ghosts frozen in time, on the inside. As I allowed the thoughts to grow, a lot of different information came together, which became the process that I work with still today. I discovered we have inner ghosts. This is where we have become frozen in time, not knowing we have grown on up. I call these inner ghosts our frozen emotional children. As I traveled through my memories, I realized I had many ghosts. I had frozen in the emotion of particular events which had occurred while growing up. As I was contemplating how my frozen children could be unfrozen, I remembered how when I was ghost busting, I used light to transform the block energy of the ghost that the ghost was held in. Remembering what I was taught about what I taught about the preconception point, plus what I did in past life regression sessions, I decided to experiment. I began to work with myself by going into my memories and discovered I could access earlier unconscious memories by having the child of my memories remember beliefs and to be released. What I found as I connected with the light and transformed the emotions I was carrying was that I was becoming more whole, more complete. I felt better. I was more emotionally stable, able to make decisions easier, and felt more happy and joyful. When I talked to my frozen inner children, I found they did not know they had grown up. They thought they were still in the same space and time in which they had frozen. I discovered I had many of these frozen children. One by one, I worked on forming them and growing them up to integrate with me in the now. What a change. I began to feel the difference right away. I also discovered that I sometimes had split. I had 2 or 3 different frozen children in the same event, each one with its own set of decisions and resulting beliefs. As I connected these splits to the light, transformed them, and then integrated them in the present with me, I felt even more complete. I was on my way to becoming whole. I eventually began leading my clients through the process of unfreezing their inner frozen children or their ghosts by having them connect with their light, transforming the energy they were frozen in, and then growing their inner child up to integrate with them in the now. They also began to see results in their lives. Then I began to teach the process to others. Over the years, I was able to refine the process, ensuring all the steps of complete transformation were taken. I still utilize the process in my own life. I love the process. It's simple, it's easy, and it works. And you can apply the process to any situation where energy needs to be transformed. So what happened to me when I was at the dentist? And I'm just want to see. Oh yeah, so I wrote myself a note that says, "Remember to tell how you used to run the light from your feet up to see where you were blocked." So anyway, I'm back in this present right now. 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, when I've had my first dental appointment, where I was going to have 5 teeth taken out. on this side here. And on the last two molars back here, the freezing didn't take properly. So the others all came out. I didn't even know they were out yet. And they said, oh, well, they're out. But the other one, one of them shattered, and they had to kind of spend quite a bit of time trying to get everything, all the pieces out. But the one in the very back is still in there. When they were working with these ones in the very back, it became extremely painful. I was in there clenching my hands to hold on because the pain. And I'm not exaggerating, and I'm not great on pain, I agree, but this was really quite yucky. Now, a couple of things happened when I was there. At one point, I turned to the assistant, and well, actually, I didn't turn to her then. I said out loud, I'm feeling like I'm 6 years old. Just kind of came out of my mouth. And then, as I said, it was like this pain. I didn't think too much of it at the time. But later on, I began to recognize, because the memory came back when I got home, the memory came to me that when I thought I was 7, but maybe I was 6. I had I was a tomboy, right? And I was climbing. We were visiting my eldest sister. I have an older sister. So we were visiting my eldest sister, and she had a fence that was kind of high up with some bushes on it. And it had been raining, and I had shoes on with rubber bottoms, not good with water. And I slipped, and I broke my arm right here. Now, we were not anywhere near where we live, and they took me to the local hospital, and my memory kicked in present time that what they did was put me in a room by myself. And what was really interesting, because I was saying to the gal, the assistant, don't leave me. Now I'm going to go back a little further. Last year, the year before, I can't remember, I had radiation treatment on this arm. And the first time we went, we had gone and they had done all the measuring. And so they were ready for me. So I got there. No, I'd already had my first immunology appointment. And it already, a lot of the things on my arm were receding. My brain is getting over a pound here. Sorry, I can't remember what I had. But anyway, skin cancer was sort of gone down, and they couldn't fit it. Now, they already had me in the sort of ready for the machine, and they said to me, "No, we want you to lie here and be still." So I'm lying, and then they left the room. Now, what I didn't know was they left the room to go figure out what they were going to do, because this didn't fit their system of how they were going to do it. I'm lying there. Now, I'm still in the old school that you do as you're told by the experts. And I'm lying there, and my body's going, because it was uncomfortable and lying still. And like time ticked by, right? Time went by. And I'm still lying still. And my body actually had a reaction. My body started crying. And that's how they found something was wrong, because they had speakers, which I wasn't really quite aware of. And they could hear my body crying away. So they came in and went, I said, well, you told me to lie still. And like it was quite a while. My friend who was outside sitting there said, so anyway, to make a long story short, they got me out of there, and I had to go away and get calmed down. And they would come to me and say, are you ready yet? And I'd say, no, I'm not ready yet. So I made agreement with them that if I laid down, they could talk me through it. And the first time they just talked to me through the speakers the whole time, what they were doing. And instead of this long time I had waited, it was like a few minutes. It was so quick. It was unbelievable. And so that was the thing of having a voice or something that I was able to feel comfortable. Now, I didn't connect this until after I had the dentist. And I realized all of these were related back to when I had broken my arm when I was either 6 or 7. when I went to the hospital, they had taken me and put me in a room by myself. They left me there hurting. And of course, who tells a 6 or 7-year-old any information? They don't tell you anything. And I was bright anyways. It was like, so what happened that froze. Now, I thought I had dealt with all that a long time ago because I spent a lot of time running the energy, the light energy up through my feet. And I would lay at night in bed and bring the light, which is love. Okay. We call it light. And a lot of us that work is love, bringing that up through my feet, up through the body, and wherever it kind of got blocked, I would go in and find out what that block was. So I spent a lot of time cleaning out blocks. I thought I'd taken care of this spot, but remember, I read in the book, you can split. And in the splitting, and when you have a trauma, like I was, not only the trauma of falling and breaking my arm, both bones, by the way, the whole thing, weird. And years later, I broke my hip just above my elbow. So poor right arm got it, and the left one has got it through the cancer. So I'm two elbows that don't work right. Anyway, that's another story. But what I'm trying to say here is that at that moment of trauma, the part that you are, whether you're 6 or 60 or even older, if it's traumatic emotionally, and especially if it has a physical element to it, that part of you can actually, I've seen some people have up to 5 different parts in them. That part of them goes out, makes different decisions, puts whole different belief systems in. Now, who's running the show? Your consciousness isn't running the show. So when you hit up into anything that looks like the trauma that you had, that part of you will start reacting. And that's why when I went back in to have these other teeth taken out just the other day, I said to the girl, no, I had said to the, sorry, let me back up. After that, we had done all this pain stuff. And I just said to the girl, the assistant, don't leave me. Okay. Don't leave me. That was my trigger to realize this had to be a program. That's when I came home and figured it out. But it was like, don't leave me. So when I went back in, I said, you're going to told her the story. I said, what happened was I went, you remember when I said I was 6? Felt like I was 6. And she said, yeah, I do. And I said, yeah, well, the pain threw me right back to that. And I went home, figured it out, sorted it out, and went on from there. So very often we're not aware, even though when you've done, like myself, mega work, there are still parts of you that are not totally integrated. But it's life that brings it to the point of showing us. Now, if I'd been a little more aware when we did the down on my arm here and left alone, the key is being left alone, by the way. Handle the pain, but the thought of being left alone just freaked me. So that's why the 6-year-old child being left alone in the room, that was the whole thing. And when there may have been other instances in my life I'd never connected, maybe I didn't have pain or whatever, I had never connected with being left alone. But as an adult, I live alone. So that's not that. It has to do with a certain amount of having pain and being left alone. And you see, that's what happened when I was having radiation. They left me alone. And I didn't know the 6-year-old came out then. I knew that my body, I was having these sensations in my body, and I was thinking, what's going on? I knew it was emotional. And I went, what's going on? Until finally I couldn't control it. It kind of burst through. But it's how often these little things happen. And that's why I wanted to talk about that today, because now I'm a few weeks away and I'm still going back and having these teeth things taken care of. And so many people have contacted me who have also had to go through having teeth changed. So it's going to be a bit of a long process from what I gather, but we're going to get there. So just know if you're having some reaction and you think as a mature adult, what's going on here? Just spend some time seeing if you can find where that block is. And it was how it was and where it was and everything else. So anyway, I felt like, oh, this is a good time to share this because it is interesting. This little book I wrote called Connecting with the Light, it's got quite a few chapters in it, I remember. Let me see. And I've written all over the front few pages here. Yeah, it's got quite a few. It's not very big. It's, 8 by 10, 45 pages. That's including the appendixes. But basically, the conclusions in 41. It basically sets out, but it gives you the process. It talks about the power of affirmations, checks and balances, because when you do the process, but it's basically, as I said earlier here, I got to this understanding by ghost busting. That was one of the things I did for many years. I definitely don't do that anymore. It's what happens when you get older. Certain things you kind of drop away. And, but that's how I got to that. Hang on a minute. What's happening on the outside happens on the inside. And I went exploring. And there's many things have happened that way. And I'm just hoping it helps you understand when you have a reaction that is not your normal reaction. Because we know what we normally do. We normally cope and handle whatever. But if you have a little bit unusual, take a look. Go inside and ask where are you seated. Now, I do want to add one point while I'm talking about these inner frozen children. Sometimes they hide. And that's why I spent quite a bit of time at one point running this light. And I use a golden light primary or a yellow light full of love. Connect to that. Whatever light will lead you to the love. Get that from the bottoms of my feet up. So I spend a lot of time sometimes just working on bits and pieces. Oh, I have to share this. I used to go up and do readings at a salon in northern BC on Vancouver Island. At my friend's hairdressing salon, and she had one of those ones you can sit in and pull over, and it's like a heat thing. And I used to go in there when we weren't working, and I would do all this checking out to see where I was blocked. So I was able to get quite a bit of done there, and then I used to do them at home too as well, just when it felt appropriate. So just remember that, even when you think you have it all together, there's still little bits that are not quite together yet. But so I want to thank you for listening, and I trust that will help. And so I had my friend Terry come yesterday, and he takes care of my website. So he helped me a little bit with my site too, making on the YouTube site here things that people kept saying things I didn't know what they were, and so he was showing me that. So there's some things moving which is quite good. And all of those of you, several of you that are coming into the reading on Saturday, I've got my next session booked, which is I just want to put it out there because I'll forget. It's on July the 26th. That's after my birthday. July 26th, I'm going to do a group channeling your guide. I did one several months ago, quite a while ago now, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it. So there'll be more information about that coming out too. So I'm looking forward to, I think it's this coming Saturday when I do group reading, just because I'm feeling better. I've got the energy to do that now, and I didn't. So I'm going to wind up that part. It's not that super long, but I hope you didn't. And I'm going to go to the people that have checked in. Karen B says, good morning. I love Maths 07 says, hello, Norma. Did you feel the same when you were alone during COVID? No, I had friends, and I know what happened. It changed my life because up to that point, I had my little where I moved to apartment, I could have 8 people for meditation. I had set up for clients, but during the COVID thing, nobody could come into the apartment building. So I got living a different way, and I kept it that way. And it makes it easy. I don't have to worry about what my place looks like all the time, and etc. So no, I never did feel like that alone. No, 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 no. And normally I don't. It's just pain. Physical pain is the trigger for me, and aloneness with physical pain. Mm-mm. So now, hopefully, that I've done that, hang on a minute, I'll get that out of the way. Now that I have done that, we'll be able to handle more. So thanks. Yvonne Olson, she says, thank you so much, Norma. And then Karen B says, sharing your story is powerful. Many thanks. We'll search out my frozen children. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Well, it's a short one today, but I really want you to go have a great day, great time. And it didn't freeze, so we're very happy. And I will be back on Sunday with a Sunday thought. And then, of course, next Monday night with mental mind treatments going good. So, okay, thank you, and see you later. Bye.